Hello guys, we're back again here and we're going to continue creating this model. We're going to go under layer settings and select all and come over here. We have 22 objects on layer number 1 and we have 1 object on layer number 6 and 9 in layer number 10. So we're going to close this here for right now. Go under format and move to layer. We're going to take all the geometry that we use for the profile, move it to a different layer where we don't have no geometry. Okay, 11, we go back to layers, selecting layer 11, we have 22 objects. That's where we have all the geometry that we use for the development of this part. So we're going to go to layers, categories, and we're going to give it a user-defined category. Call it profile, geometry probably would be a good name. That's a good name for this part. Profile geometry for that user-defined category. Then select create edit. We move down into layer 11 or layer 11. Hit OK. We're going to create another user-defined category. Then I call it lecture description. You're going to select create edit. We're going to assign it to layer 10. Hit OK. Layer setting again. We're going to select layer 11. And that's where we have all the geometry now. Layer 1, we got to put our part that we're going to create. So let's close this for right now. Go to the WCS and set the WCS to the absolute. WCS and select orient. We're going to do is actually position the WCS in relationship to the XY by using this vector here, this edge of the solid, parametric solid. And then we're going to select this other edge right here. Notice how the WCS gets positioned there at the end of that edge, but it's perpendicular to that edge, and that's exactly what we want. We're going to double click on the WCS and we're going to slide it down X distance. Any distance is fine, but I want to use like some round numbers, so I use a 40. So I know exactly that the WCS, that plane, is exactly what I want it to be. And for right now, it doesn't make any difference what plane we use. We go into the right curve again, and we're going to select project. Select the edges. Be careful that we're not going to select the radius, only the straight edges, because we're not going to use the blends. And select the last one here, so only those two lines are good. Select this curve here now. Before we hit OK, we got to be careful that the associative toggle on is off and delete it. So select the plane. Select the plane that we're going to project to. This time is going to be the YZ. So we go to the YZ plane, hit OK. On the 3 curves, hit OK. Create copy now when this comes up. We're going to take the WCS and rotate it in such a way that that's going to give us the working plane so we can trim those curves. Select the other ones, select the second boundary and hit OK. And we're going to select it again. Select that line, select this one here, hit apply and select the other one at the bottom. So we apply twice and we trim those two curves simultaneously. Okay, we're gonna extend this both curves one to one end, hit OK, double click on the other side, extend it also as well, X distance, hit OK. We rotate the part just to be sure that we're going on the right track. Go back again to format layers, select the work all layer off and select layer number 1 for the work layer where we're going to create our extrusions. So we're going to select extrusion. We got to be careful that we select connect curves. We're going to select the curves at the bottom. And we got to be sure that we're going in the X direction. So we toggle on the X direction, we get an alert, an error message here. We're gonna select none and see what happens. We still get the error message. The input section is not valid. So we start zooming in and we realize that we have a little mismatch here. This happens often, and I just wanted to be sure that we are always careful about this. This could happen because sometimes when we do the projection, we don't select correctly, so we ended up selecting geometry that we don't need to, and sometimes some of the models are corrupted or they don't come through the system very well. So what we need to do is orientate the WCS in the proper orientation, select one of those lines, select the next one, and that would position us in the X, Y, and that's our working plane now. So we zoom in again into that area and we're going to trim that little segment there. Select it, select the other line for boundary, hit OK. Okay, so it's repaired. Go back here to a fit, go back again, rotate the part, connect the curves. We're going to extrude again. Now everything went fine. Select reverse on the extrusion. You're gonna slide it down a little bit and then slide it down a little bit to here. And then when we feel comfortable, it doesn't matter the distance. And careful, we're gonna toggle this to none and hit OK. Pretty good. So we're gonna create the other next extrusion. We're gonna select the curves and select the direction, which should be the X direction, and we extend it a little bit past the solid body. And we're gonna move forward there. Okay, then we're gonna select that Boolean or select the offset. We gotta go into the offset and make it two-sided. So it gives us a width or the thickness. So now we go back and be sure that we're going to subtract it because we're creating a Boolean from that solid body and hit OK. Perfect. All right, that's exactly what we want. So we're going to create an extrusion of the little block on top, which is actually, that could be done with a pocket if you want to, or a pad, I'm sorry, not a pocket, a pad, or an extrusion from that geometry. You try to unite it, and I don't think unite would work in this instance. We try to adjust it a little bit from the bottom, from the top, and this is not working too good. Let's see what happens here. Change the distance to a 0 so we can see what is really happening. We're gonna have to leave it at none and then we can see it, so we can go ahead and adjust it and adjust it from the top down a little bit as well. Okay, so try to unite it, it doesn't work, so let's go back to none and hit OK. Good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to unite the two solids. Before we forget,